Hello everyone, welcome to Hill Street. Today's story is coming from the attic. If you end up enjoying this story, please leave a like. And if you enjoy hearing stories from me, please subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing in the comments. Now, let's get into this nightmare. The house seemed normal enough at first. A small Cape Cod type property in an older subdivision. The rent was cheap. The neighborhood was good. The ad for the property had an option for immediate move-in. Apparently, the last renters had ran off. I had a job starting in the city later that week, and the house was far nicer than any apartment in my price range. I would have been a fool to not sign the lease that day. After all, the landlord said he had a few other people interested in the property. I didn't notice the stench at first. It crept in slowly. For the first day or so, I figured it was mildew. Something stirred up from the floorboards as they settled under the weight of the new furniture brought in. But then the noises started. It sounded like rustling in the attic. Little scratches or tiny footsteps. I had figured it had been a raccoon, maybe a squirrel. I contacted the landlord, who said they would be sending an exterminator over in the next few days. He said to keep any scraps in the bins or in the refrigerator until that time. After a few days, the noises stopped. The exterminators must have been by while I was at work, I figured. The smell got worse though. What at first had been a faint waft of unpleasantness, it had become into unbearable. It was a sickly sweet smell, putrid and rancid. I looked for the source for a few days, but couldn't find anything. I had my neighbor, who was leasing from the same property owner, come over to help me find the smell. They said my house smelled normal. I was shocked. The smell was so bad, it made me gag at this point. They looked at me like I was crazy and made up an excuse to leave. I could tell it was fake. I don't know why they would lie to me about something like this. Maybe trying to be polite neighbors? The sounds came back a few days later. The little patters had turned into thumps, and the floorboards creaked above me. I spent a day searching for the entrance to the attic, only to find it nailed shut. A little square pull-down door located in the back of the garage. The pull string had been removed. It looked like it had been ripped off, in fact. I called the property owner, but he had been sending my calls straight to voicemail over the past few days. I guess he got tired of me calling him constantly. I can't exactly blame him. My stuff started moving. I didn't think much of it at first. Things would travel from one room to another or disappear for a few days. Nothing of significance, just towels, clothing, old blankets, or mail. Occasionally food would be missing. I documented the location of my things with my phone camera. I feel like I'm becoming paranoid. The door to the attic was open yesterday. Not all the way, but just a crack. The string was still missing, but the nails were gone. They laid strewn about my garage. I picked one up. The tip was flattened. It had been hit out from the inside of the attic. I got a ladder and shut the door back. The stench was worse as I got closer to the opening. Flies crawled in and out of the 2-inch gap. I put the door back in place. My landlord still isn't answering his calls. This morning, the garage door was open. I knew it was before I even got out of bed. Flies speckled my bedroom walls. I hadn't slept the night before. The slamming above me was so loud. In the garage, the attic was open. I made my way slowly up the ladder, batting flies from my face. The smell was indescribable, like vomit that had fermented or garbage that had been left out in the hot sun. I called my landlord again as I peered into the crawl space above me. I was surprised at first when I saw the light. In the corner, about 20 feet away from me, was the unmistakable glow of a phone screen. As my eyes adjusted, I saw a pile of shredded paper and clothing that had been heaped up into a nest in the corner. Food wrappers and human excrement created a thick, sticky layer over the pink insulation. I was surprised to see the gray, fleshy remains of a young couple stuck in the muck. Thick, dried blood appearing like tree sap over the exposed and broken bones. Their eyes were sunken in, and their flesh hung loose, sloughing off in places. What surprised me the most was when my phone call didn't go to voicemail this time. My heart stopped when I saw a pair of eyes meet my own across the dark. I watched as a figure picked up the phone to his ear, answering my call with a simple, "Hello?" The end. That was It's Coming from the Attic. If you ended up enjoying this story, please leave a like. I hope you all have had a great day, and have a good night.